Movie critic Norman Wilner thinks that Hellboy 2 is complete crap, and it's all the director's fault. Hey guys, if it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button so that we know that you like the video. Otherwise, we have no idea. Now let's take a look at this stupid critic. 4 years and one Pan's Labyrinth later, Hellboy 2: The Golden Army suggests that Del Toro needs a script editor or some serious budgetary restrictions to keep his self-indulgence at tolerable levels. This is a great start. Is he insulting Pan's Labyrinth? Oh, that's weird. And what's the self-indulgence? He's just like telling the story in a way. I don't understand why it's self-indulgent. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like if he kept popping up on the screen and was like, "Look at me!" Well, then he's Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks was in everything, but he's allowed to be because he's Mel Brooks. The first hints of excess can be seen in the overlong animation of the title sequence, a display of infernal clockwork mechanics that takes a good minute or so to stamp out the name of the movie. Oddly enough, it was kind of the transition into opening credits that weren't boring. Opening credits used to be boring as shit. All we wanted to do was skip them, and now people started doing things like that, and we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. So, thank you, is what you should be saying. It's just the first movie that you showed up to on time, and you're like, fucking credits. Next, there's a bit introducing the new bad guy, the elf prince Nada, Luke Goss, the villain of Del Toro's Blade 2, who's doing shirtless gymnastics in his underground lair for a very long time. That's gonna be the new Olympic sport, shirtless gymnastics. Once we just decide that it's okay for women to be shirtless in public, it's just, that's what we're gonna do. Shirtless gymnastics, everybody shirtless, do your flips and spins. Seeing some guy's nipple rings while he's on the rings. The exposition gets rattled off effectively enough. The Big Red Galoot and his pals at the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense must stop Prince Nada from unleashing a legendary army of invincible killer robots to destroy the human race. But somehow, there's not much urgency to the action. There was a lot to figure out though. They can't be like, let's do it! What? What are we doing? Who is this guy? What's going on? We don't have time for that! Just let's do stuff! Come on! It's like, pretty sure you're on coke. Instead, Del Toro rifles through his sketchbook for a slew of elaborate fantasy tableaux and gets lost in every one. I don't even know what you're mad about in that sentence. Instead, he goes through his ideas and plans that he had for the film and executes them with painstaking detail. Like, what? How dare you? That's just dumb. It's like painting the Sistine Chapel, like, whatever! I don't need to plan this. Del Toro is his generation's Terry Gilliam, and I wouldn't compare them at all. I have a feeling you're gonna explain why, and I'm gonna understand less. An intensely visual director who loves his ideas so much that he's happy to disappear into them for minutes at a time, forgetting all about such trivial concerns as story, characters, and audience. Huh, someone who's like visually creative and puts it on screen. I guess you could make a comparison that they're both visual and creative, but to say that they ignore story, characters, and audience is craziness. That's absolute craziness. Not once was there a moment watching Time Bandits where I was like, man, I wish they'd get back to the story about time travel. Like, the story, it never stopped. Like, it just kept going. I'm really confused. Hellboy 2 has visual splendor in spades, but watching the movie is like eating an entire cake, which is awesome. After a while, you can't register anything but richness. By the 8th or 9th time, the movie stops dead to gaze in wonder at another of Del Toro's pale-skinned otherworldly creations. I was throwing up my hands in exasperation, and the person behind me in the theater was pissed, because you don't raise your hands in a theater, it makes it so people can't see, dick. The actors aren't to blame. Ron Perlman is still wonderful as the cranky, proudly immature Hellboy, and Selma Blair is a prickly, melancholy marvel as his beloved firestarter, Liz Sherman. Even if Del Toro's script does her no favors. Is it ever comforting to an actor to be like, you know, it's not your fault that the movie you're in sucked? How could that possibly be comforting? I mean, the musicians who played on the album were fantastic, but this album is shit. Just going, it's all shit. Like, they're as much a part of it as the director. Like, if it's all shit, it's all shit, right? If it's all good, it's all good. That's how they're gonna take it, at least. I understand that you can't blanket that statement, but that's how they're gonna take it. And there's a new character, BPRD Commander Johann Kraus, whose ectoplasmic form is contained in a modified diving suit, and who speaks in exactly the same arch German accent that voice actor Seth MacFarlane uses for American Dad's talking fish, Klaus. Man, it's not that unique a German accent. If you try and do a German accent, it will very often sound like that character. I understand that, like, if he was playing a German character and all of a sudden was talking like Mickey Mouse, that might be a little different. If he was like, oh, hi, Hellboy. Like, yeah, you'd be like, that's fucking weird. I thought the similarity was just a coincidence until MacFarlane's name appeared in the end credits. And then I found myself wondering why Del Toro would think that was a good idea. Because he's incredibly popular and he probably likes his work? Maybe? But like so much of Hellboy 2, the answer is that nobody told him otherwise. Generally, that's when movies fall apart. Actually. It's very often when someone tells the director otherwise. The guy has a vision and an idea and wants to make it a certain way, and someone's like, well, can you put my daughter in this scene? She really wants to act. And he's like, ah, fine. And then it turns to shit. I mean, her acting was good, but... Thank you so much for watching, guys. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell right next to it. Also, hit the like button so that we know whether or not you like what we're doing. It makes us happy. Hopefully, it makes you happy. If you want to see another video from us, click one of the ones on the screen. And until we see you next time, geek out and game on.